Hey, this is Carlo at 4GQ TV. I have a very special interview today. I saw this amazing short called Party Foul at the Sunscreen Film Festival, and I just fell in love with it. And I thought it was like an intro to like this amazing TV series that's about to pop out. It was just so good. The quality, the humor, the writing, the directing, like excellent, excellent.
Uh,
So today on the interview, we have Julie, Heather, and Markel.
Hello.
And just gonna go through the panel and ask you to introduce yourselves briefly. And starting with Julie.
Hi, my name is Julie Vasquez Nunis, and I've been friends with Markel and Heather since the beginning of this project. Actually, I've known Markel for quite a while. Heather wrote this project, and we discussed me playing Birdie, which I
Mhm.
absolutely loved, and I was very thankful that there was a small quirky role in there for me. So it was a very nice jumping off pad for me. As I got back into the business.
And Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Barette. Yes, I wrote this. It wasn't, Jackie, our director, helped a ton, so I can't take all the credit. Um, I met Markel, I guess it was 2-ish years ago, through Jackie, actually.
Mhm.
And she wanted me to write a horror comedy short of some kind, and I came up with this idea because it sounded like the most affordable and the most doable. Because we filmed it at Julie's house.
Mhm.
And yeah, I love kind of a dark comedy. It appealed to my sensibilities of, I guess, snarkiness and sort of quick wit. I enjoy working in that zone. And this was my first time ever being on a set of any kind. I'm sort of relatively new to this industry, but I've written a lot. So to be able to write and act in this sphere was sort of a dream come true before I could even envision it for myself. So I'm really lucky that Markel asked me to do this, and I feel grateful every day that Markel and I did this, and Jackie came on, and Julie was so nice as to offer her services, and we had Willie too, who was great. So I feel very grateful for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Markel.
I feel like they've covered it. I'm Marquel Skinner. I produced and acted in it, and am so thankful to have these two gals in my life. And just we had such a blast, and we were so lucky to get Jackie Geary, our director, who is an established actress, TV writer, director, and she just loved the idea and the script and was like, I want to direct this. And we were like, can we be so lucky? And we were. And then Julie's beautiful home is featured in it, and we didn't burn the place down. So it was all in all great.
That's awesome. So I know that you mentioned the idea was kind of like a horror comedy to write for. So what
Yes.
made you think of like this, wild party with, I guess, how do I say it, Victorian outfits? If that's the
Sure.
right term for the era. What made you
Yeah.
think of that?
Gosh, that's a good question. I I I think, well, I was in the shower at like 2 o'clock in the morning when the idea hit. I don't know if it was because I was in the shower, or like I can't claim any causation or correlation to the fact that I was in the shower when the idea came. I have sort of a sick brain, is what I'm trying to say. I like think of really dark things a lot. And so I think the idea of like killing people at a party, I don't know, something felt interesting. Murder mysteries, obviously, really big right now. I'm a big Only Murders in the Building fan. Obviously, Knives Out was a big success as a franchise, and I don't know. I think it just came to me based on having seen those things recently, and like I said before, I knew we had to work within the confines of a very tight budget, and we only had this one property, and we could only film for a day or maybe two tops. So I tried to sort of put all the pieces together. We came up with a couple of ideas. If I recall, there was like a camping one that we were sort of tossing around, and I think just this one worked given the constraints that we were working under. And then also, I think we thought the Victorian stuff would be really fun. And what you didn't see in the final product, we came up with all these funny names for like the food at the party based on sort of these Victorian puns. And so we really got into that part of it. And I like soaked paper in tea to make it look old, whatever. So it was really fun to play in that kind of fantasy world. I think we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it was when I first watched it and people enter the party, I actually thought it was taking place in like in this alternate Victorian era universe because the Victorian outfits, but then I saw like the modern inside. I was like, wait a minute, this is like a weird twist. So is this modern or is this Victorian? But I mean, it was just fantastic. So the outfits, did you guys make those? How did you find those?
Huge shout out to the Kentwood players in what are they? Is it Ingle or El
Westchester.
Segundo? Westchester, California. My friend Michael Thorpe, he's on the board at this theater company, and I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, like, we don't have a huge budget. Do you guys by chance have any like sort of Victorian era? And immediately he's like, yeah, we have a ton of stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, you guys can use it. I was like, okay, use it for how much? And they gave it to us. They let us borrow all of it. For one night, it was unbelievable. Julie immediately runs over because she lives close by, rifles through really quick, right, Julie? Like they had a production going on. She just had to like spy and see that they have sort of something we could use. And then when it was like a day or two before, we have the size charts for all the actors. We're just running in again, pulling whatever we can, ransacking the place. And I mean, we would not have been able to do it without them, because who has this clothes? Who's going to let us use it for, you know, nothing? So it's all to them. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm glad they came through for you because it just looks so authentic.
Yeah, they had a great stash. A couple of the dresses we did rent and purchase separately, just because we didn't know for sure that they had like for the main cast our outfits. But everything else was them, and it was just so lucky.
And I think kudos to Marquel and Heather for putting it in that era and actually dressing the actors that way, because once we dressed all the actors, they actually, their posture changed.
Oh, 100%.
We had a few of the gentlemen who they put on their costumes and they really liked themselves in it.
Yes.
The ladies were, I think they were surprised. I think everyone enjoyed, everybody likes to play a little bit of dress up, I think. The fact that we gave them permission to step into that era for this party. I think the performances were more colorful, even just the background to watch.
Yeah. I want to give, I'm glad you mentioned that, Julie. I want to give a huge shout out to the extras that we had. My God, we gave them like $100 each. I don't know if I should say that. Whatever. We gave them like the minimum. And they like came and completely nailed it. I mean, they had to play dead for like hours. That's so hard. And some of them at least. And they just really came to task. And they were so kind. Everybody was so awesome to work with. I mean, there were a lot of things, you're going to hear this a lot throughout this interview. There were a lot of things that happened that just were perfect. Like we couldn't have made this without just sort of the perfect circumstance. And part of that was everybody being so on board to do anything that Jackie wanted, and also being really good at it and being really talented. We're really lucky to have them.
And speaking of those lovely actors, Julie and I's friend Garrett plays the gentleman, the first death, that like literally he's standing up straight and then boom, just like,
yeah,
that was all Garrett. And then at the end, I'm like pulling him around and he's like a lifeless dead body. Garrett, I was like, without Garrett, like, we would not have like the greatest like he just was, I mean, that's hard. And it was like, he was just brilliant.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you is, and I know with shorts, usually it's a very, very small budget. So understandable of, how your constraints, time constraints, and outfit constraints and all that. So amazing job for a short budget. Fantastic. Because it looked like it was a high budget short, to be honest with you.
That's all Marquel.
Yeah,
Just magic touch.
Crunching numbers
Yeah.
and asking for
A lot of
favors.
Yeah.
So the characters were very believable too. I think, you know, all the main characters were very believable. Especially yours, Heather. Like when I saw your character on screen, I was like, she's like a psychopath, but a funny psychopath.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I am. You should know. I think it's really, thank you. And I think it's really easy to write for yourself. My goal is to obviously, I'm actually a TV writer, I guess, by trade. I want to star in my own TV show, you know, because I'm a narcissist, but cute, you know, so it's okay. I enjoy writing characters that are sort of heightened versions of myself. And I did think there was yes, I think there's a lot of psychopathy to be explored within the character. I also think that there's some sort of relatability, or I like playing, you know, the fun goof that is just sort of fucking up. Can we curse?
Yep.
Okay. And but thank you. And again, Jackie, you know, once Jackie agreed to come on, there was a lot of co-writing involved. We ended up, I think, with 13 or 14 drafts, and then on the day we improvised a ton too. So I credit Jackie a lot with, she knows me really well and she knows Marquel really well. And she's so talented that when she met Julie and Willie, she's like, this is what they need to do. So a lot of it was collaborative, and also the genius of everybody else to be able to like think of funny things and say the lines really well. So that's acting, I guess, but you know.
Now, Markel's character, I couldn't tell if she was aware of what was going on at first. Like, was she really aware, or did she just catch on a little bit later? Like, you know what? I'm just gonna go along with this.
Well, then we'll just leave it up to mystery.
Yeah.
I hope to think she was not aware, because that would be very, we only need one psycho in the house. Yeah, I hope she was not aware.
And I thought Birdie was gonna turn into like this like horror character at the end that was gonna get them both, you know, like get even with them or something. The Revenge of Birdie. I thought,
Right.
That's a
That's a
sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we're in the works.
there you go.
I loved that character. I loved what Heather wrote about that. I just wish I could have done it 10 more times, because there's so many ways to say those lines, that character. And it was our first scene on the entering the party was the first one we actually shot. So
yeah,
just getting the wiggles out before you shoot something is something you never think about. And so I look back, and even though it's a short, I just think I just like so much more could have been there, because it was right there in the writing. It was right there in all the everything, the costume, the writing, the directing, that it was all up. So yeah, and the characters were they were so different, right, Carlo? I mean, I remember when I first saw it, like Heather and Marquel being roommates was such an interesting, watchable twist, you know. And then the best friend, and then the nosy neighbor. I mean, who doesn't love a Mrs. Kravitz, right? I mean, I might probably dating myself, but
no, you're good.
well, so anyway, I just wanted to jump on that comment that Heather made.
How long did it take to make the whole project, like the film portion of it?
The filming was, I think, from our start time, our call time for getting everyone there to when we wrapped, was that like 12 hours, Julie?
Yeah.
On the nose.
Yeah. Because it's we're, you know, like, and we're like literally negotiating the time, because, you know, we are SAG film, you know, you've got to have a lunch break, certain, you know, things to follow.
We had COVID protocol in place.
Oh, yeah, COVID was still very much a part of everything. So we had to account for their time arrival to test, and then the
Right.
time for the test to come up with the results. And
Yeah.
thank God nothing nothing popped
Nothing
up.
popped.
Because that would have been horrible. But I
Yeah.
think you were in the Q&A possibly at Sunscreen, like they were asking one of the challenges, and not that this was a huge challenge, but it's time consuming to put people in Victorian era clothes. Like, it's not just putting on a t-shirt and pants. So it's like the fact that we got filming wrapped and everything, and COVID and corsets and, bustiers
Oh
in
yeah.
12 hours. I want to pat ourselves on the back, because like, it's not just throwing on a t-shirt, so but yeah, it was I'm proud of us for that, for sure.
Yeah, and it was a night shoot also. So it was sort of like 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. And Marquel and I, by like 2-ish, we were feeling it. I mean, those costumes, to her point, were not comfy. And like, you really felt it in your back,
my
actually, just because everything was so tight, kind of around the ribs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we were, and it was my first time ever being on a set. I had no stamina for any of this. They are all pros and know what's up. I didn't. So it was crazy to have to keep that energy going and also have to be quiet, because then the neighbors would like call the cops on us. But like, we had to, we had to make it work, and we did. We were really good. I'm going to pat myself on the back too, Marquel.
All right. Yeah.
When it came to editing the final clips, did you guys do it yourselves or did you have an editor?
Yes. Oh God, did we? Yeah. That was not something that we wanted to venture on our own. We hired a great person in Austin, Texas, actually. And what was nice with us is we didn't have like a ton of footage to deal with. Like, we had to do just a couple takes of each thing. So it wasn't like they had to have a massive amount, but it had to fit sort of perfectly, because remember the shot where it's spinning around the girls when they are figuring out what actually happened to the people actually dying, like that we had just a couple takes of, and it's like, and you had to see all the deaths that happen in that take. Brilliant idea of Jackie's to use that shot. And luckily, we also shot it like in case that didn't work, because we didn't really have time to watch footage on set as well. Like, Jackie's in front of the monitor, but she's also like watching us and that. So really, it was nice that they didn't have a lot of footage to deal with, but at the same time, it was like, okay, please have that shot work out. And thankfully it did.
Yeah, the way it was described to me, because again, I'm new at all this, it was sort of, we almost had literally one take per scene. It was almost like a perfect jigsaw puzzle of a project. And again, the brilliance of Jackie to get something out of us so quickly with like no room for error, like literally none. Again, the word is gratitude. I'm so grateful that it looked like this, given we had no time. And we moved through everything so quickly. We were really lucky.
Yeah, Jackie, she's very skilled in directing actors. I guess maybe since she's an actor herself, but I think each one of us had a job that we stuck to it, and we each of us showed up with whatever task we were assigned to, and I think you guys pulled through that 2 a.m. scene just fine.
Thank you.
I think the teamwork cohesion behind, with everybody behind the scenes, I think it just came out like a masterpiece. And Heather, I'm serious. I really hope you turn this into some sort of TV series or some type of like comedy series where like it's, the three characters like Birdie, yourself, Markel's character, and you just, even if it's different, how do I say it? Different sets or different ideas in each episode, just the three characters there just interacting all the time would just be hysterical. I really love it.
It's a little
They
Thelma
are so different.
Yeah, that's very nice, Carlo. That's very sweet. I mean, if they're calling, I'm there. You know what I mean? I would work. Marquel knows this ad nauseum. I would work with them again in a heartbeat, and I wish we could do everything together. I mean, we had so much fun. It was such a positive collaborative experience. And yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody brought something so authentic to them that I couldn't have possibly written on the page. But it helped because I knew Marquel beforehand. Obviously, we were already friends. And then when she told me who Julie is, she only needed to give me a sentence or two, and I'm like, I love this woman. Let's do it. And same with Willie. So it was everybody else that makes you feel that way, Carlo. And but I would love to make anything out of this. I'm hugely creative in that way. I love to. I'm a little manic, I guess, when it comes to writing. I love to write and write and write. So if they want to, I'm here.
Yeah.
How many film festivals has this been seen at?
Well, we had actually a couple screenings that were, 5. Is it 5? We had a couple film festivals, and then we had some screenings that were part of like film clubs, like one in Austin, Texas, and then in LA. So yeah, about 5 times, and then we're gonna just release it out into the wild on the internet soon. Stream it.
Oh, nice. I can't wait to show everybody once you guys put it on the internet.
Thank you so much, Carlo.
Yeah, no, it's that good. I'm serious. At a lot of the stuff I saw at Sunscreen, there was a couple things that stood out, a couple unique stories. And one was one of the main features, 2 Lives in Pittsburgh, which I thought was fantastic. But when it came to the shorts, like if I really think hard about all the shorts I saw, this is the one that really stands out. Like, I hope that you guys have won awards at some film festivals because this is fantastic.
No, we have not.
We haven't, but we appreciate your enthusiasm.
We need more Carlos in our corner.
I mean, we do. Yeah.
That would have helped us a lot.
I do think that the 3 separate characters and the setting for a neighborhood does, or HOA does lend itself to a series. I mean, it would be a funny feature also, but I think a series, I think you're right, Carlo, just because you could go so many routes with each character and they're so different, and just the roommate situation alone of 2 totally different people, but somehow they're got each other's back in a weird way, or they know each other really well since grade school. I don't know what it is. And then, there's always room for a nosy neighbor. And that, I don't know. I agree with you 100%. I do think that it has that potential.
Julie, you're tempting me.
Just Carlo, just tell us where the funding is, Carlo.
Yeah,
Carlo. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's why we have Marquel.
Because that's the problem.
That's why she's the problem solver, and she's the one. Yeah, she thinks of everything. Yeah, if you could just write us a check, Carlo, we will get on it.
We'll get on it. Yeah.
Sizable check, Carlo. Just a sizable, a lot of money, Carlo.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I make something big enough and I get a check that size, I will help produce a series of this show because
all right. We're counting on it.
So and just to let you know what it reminded me of, like if I think of like current stuff out there, like if you ever saw Miracle Workers, I don't know if you ever saw Miracle Workers.
No.
Where can we see that?
I believe it might be on Hulu now.
Okay.
But it has the I'm bad with names sometimes, but the actor that played Harry Potter in it.
With
Daniel Radcliffe, I think.
Daniel Radcliffe. Okay.
And it reminds me of a similar style of humor where it's like the 4 main characters, but it takes place in different eras and they always come across each other in some weird kind of way.
Well,
that sounds
like
good.
Yeah. I like that.
What's that called again?
Miracle Workers.
Miracle Workers. Okay.
I'm gonna check that out. That sounds good.
Yeah, we have to watch that.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
Maybe it give you some ideas, and then you could pitch this with a pitch deck and the show Bible. You could walk right into any of the streaming services and be like,
Show Bible.
look at this.
Okay.
Carlo.
Man.
It sounds like homework, Carlo.
Yeah.
Get to work, Heather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Call Jackie.
Yeah. Where's Jackie? We need her on this now so that we could have nailed her down now.
I know Jackie would
Yeah.
knock some sense into us. That's right.
So will people see possibly a Party Foul 2 at maybe some film festivals?
Marquel.
Oh, I don't know.
Gosh, where would we
Yeah.
go with it? Yeah, I mean that's not in the cards, but I mean, isn't yet, but anything's possible, I guess. You know, with Heather, you know.
Like, how many parties could go that wrong before I'm in jail? Like, what are we talking about, really? You know what I mean, Carla? Am I just like renegade, like on the run, and Marquel, we're just like,
Yeah, and you just go to different, eras, like maybe, Wild West one time, it's just, change the
Oh.
eras up. Actually
Marquel
go
would
to
look
the
great.
Victorian. Yeah.
Fun.
Oh,
That was
that's
fun.
funny. If you change the eras up and then you somehow get out of that time frame into another era, so you skip out on getting put in prison.
Mhm.
You know,
Time traveling.
time traveling partiers.
Yeah.
That
There you go.
Traveling
everybody
partner.
dies.
Just got to find a phone booth, right?
I know, it's a reminder, get a little
All
Bill
4
and
of us in
Ted.
one phone booth.
A little
Oh,
Bill and
yes.
Ted.
Little Doctor Who-y. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The possibilities.
Well, it's been fantastic talking to everybody. You guys are awesome, all of you. And I could talk about your short for hours, but I know the short is not even an hour long, but I could go on for hours about picking every awesome thing out about it. Like, slipping the, not the Kool-Aid into the punch kind of thing. That was a little genius of your character for this short.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
humbled, Carlo. I'm humbled.
Gosh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. And I'm so glad that we met at Sunscreen, and it was so kind of you to come up and say nice things about our short. It really, it just added to like the fun, and I'm glad we were able to make this interview work and have Heather join. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to shout out where people can find you or your work anywhere.
Hit it, Heather.
Okay. God, I shouldn't start. I have like 5 followers on Instagram. You could find me at Heathbar_35. For all the 67 of you that follow me. It's really exciting. I'm on Twitter at Heather_Barette. Don't even know my own handles because they don't matter. I'm on Facebook. And if you want us to talk about what we're currently working on, I'm writing my 21st pilot. So I've written as many pilots as there are bands named 21 pilots. And I'm doing the damn thing. I'm in class, and hopefully I could get some other things in the work coming up. And yes, a Party Foul 2 or something would be fantastic. So yeah, that's, I think, oh, and I have a website, heatherbarette.com. That's BARETTE, Heather Barette, like the hair thing, but not spelled that way, .com. That's where. And this will be, for now. And this will be on what do you think, Marquel? YouTube or Vimeo? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think probably Vimeo. We'll get back to you on that. You'll be the first one, since you are like, I feel like our biggest fan. You
You are our biggest fan.
You are our only fan.
You're our only fan
right now.
Right at this moment. You are the one of one. If we had more Carlos in our lives, we would be famous. Not to like say, but that's, yes.
Everybody needs a Carlo in their life.
We all need Carlos.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
hope to find more for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it's the film lovers and the people who are in that creative community that keep these little projects going and inspire other projects. So it takes all of us, basically.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And Julie, do you have any places that you want to shout out?
Oh, just I'm on Instagram at Julie Vasquez Nunis, but it's private. So because I'm. But I don't know whether to make it private or not. That's neither here nor there. But I just your typical social media stuff. I'll respond to anybody. And I'm doing improv right now. And currently, I just finished reading a feature film that might be shot this summer. And there's 1 or 2 possible roles in it for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing which one I get a pin on. So we'll see.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Woohoo. Yeah, I'm on the socials. I'm not as active as I think I need to be or should. I don't know, however that works. But I'm on Instagram as at Marquel S. I am developing a TV series that'll take place in the UK with a friend of mine, Jodie Medlin, whom we met at the Cannes Film Festival last year. And actively, you know, auditioning as an actor for hire on projects. But I'm most excited about our TV series and can't wait to share that once we can do so.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And once you're able to talk about it, I'll update the video description later in the future just to add it down there for you.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Well, that's awesome, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
Carla.
us. You
So good
too.
to meet you. Love you guys.
Bye.